The ocean covers more than 70% of Earth, and we've explored less than 5%. The ocean looks calm from the surface. Waves roll, lights shimmer. But beneath that calm lies an abyss so deep, so dark, that sound behaves strangely. Machines fail, and some things should not exist at all. Near the United States coastlines, scientists, sailors, and the US Navy have recorded events that defy explanations. Tonight, you'll hear true ocean abyss mysteries, recorded, documented, and still unexplained. Turn the lights down, put your headphones on, and remember, if the ocean is quiet, it's listening. Welcome to Mystery and Myth Storytime. Our first mystery begins in 1997. Scientists from NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, were monitoring a vast network of underwater microphones spread across the Pacific Ocean. These hydrophones were originally placed to detect secret Soviet submarine tests during the Cold War. But on this day, they picked up something else entirely. A sound so powerful, it traveled across more than 3,000 miles of open ocean, detected by multiple sensors simultaneously. They called it the bloop. What made the bloop so terrifying was its sheer power and unique acoustic signature. It was louder than any underwater earthquake. It dwarfed the sound of volcanic eruptions on the seafloor. It was even more powerful than the call of the blue whale, the largest and loudest animal on Earth. The frequency of the sound suggested a living origin, but its volume implied a creature far larger than anything known to science. An animal several times the size of a blue whale. Imagine something that immense, moving through the crushing darkness of the abyss. For weeks, the scientific community buzzed with theories. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the bloop was never heard again. It simply vanished. Years later, an official explanation suggested the sound was an icequake, the fracturing of a massive ice shelf in Antarctica. But many experts disagree. The acoustic profile of the bloop doesn't perfectly match an icequake. It was a single, powerful burst, not the grinding, cracking sound of ice. And ice doesn't just make a sound like that once, and then go silent forever. So, if it wasn't ice, what was it? The question hangs in the silence of the deep Pacific, a haunting reminder that we are not the only things making noise down there. Our next story takes us back to 1918, during the height of World War I. The USS Cyclops, a massive Navy collier ship over 540 feet long, was sailing through the Atlantic. Its mission was simple: deliver a full cargo of manganese, ore, a critical component for munitions, to Baltimore. The ship had a crew of 309 sailors, officers, and passengers. On March 4th, it left Barbados, and that was the last anyone ever saw of it. The USS Cyclops vanished without a trace. There was no distress signal, no SOS. The weather was calm. It wasn't sunk in combat. German records confirmed no U-boat activity in the area. It just disappeared. The US Navy launched one of the largest search and rescue operations in its history. They scoured the Atlantic. They found nothing. No wreckage, no lifeboats, no oil slicks, not a single body from the 309 souls on board. It was as if the ocean had opened its mouth and swallowed the colossal ship whole. Multiple investigations were conducted. Theories were proposed: a freak wave, a structural failure, even mutiny, but none could be proven. To this day, the disappearance of the USS Cyclops remains the single largest non-combat loss of life in US Navy history. It became one of the most famous legends of the Bermuda Triangle, a testament to the fact that even our most powerful machines are no match for the whims of the Atlantic. The ocean simply kept it. Now, let's move to the Pacific coast of the United States in more recent times. Navy sonar operators, the ears of the fleet, spend their days listening to the symphony of the deep. They can identify the distinct hum of a cargo ship, the clicks of a dolphin pod, and the silent glide of an enemy submarine. But sometimes, they detect things that don't belong. Objects moving underwater at speeds that defy our understanding of physics. They called them USOs, unidentified submerged objects. Unlike submarines, these objects made no propeller noise. They left no wake on the surface. They produced no heat signature for infrared sensors to lock onto. And most unnervingly, they could maneuver in ways no human-made vessel can. They were tracked, accelerating to hundreds of knots underwater, making instant right-angle turns, and then diving straight down into the abyss, to depths that would crush even our most advanced military submarines like a soda can. These encounters, documented in declassified and leaked reports like the famous Tic Tac incident, are not just one-off glitches on a radar screen. They are patterns, observed by multiple ships, multiple sonar systems, and multiple trained operators over decades. The data is often classified, tucked away in secure files. But the witnessized pilots and sonar technicians have spoken. They describe objects that appear to operate with impunity in our oceans, moving between water and air seamlessly. Whatever they are, they seem to be masters of the deep, a domain we foolishly believe is ours. And they clearly prefer the crushing pressure and eternal darkness of the abyss. Our next stop is the Gulf of Mexico, a body of water rich with oil rigs, shipping lanes, and folklore. For decades, fishermen and sailors have reported seeing strange, glowing lights deep beneath their boats. These aren't the familiar shimmer of bioluminescent algae or a school of jellyfish. These lights are different. They are described as large, orb-like, and moving with intelligent purpose. They move against the strongest currents. They change direction abruptly, sometimes appearing to follow a vessel for miles before veering off into the darkness. And most frustratingly, they vanish the moment anyone tries to approach them or shine a light directly on them. The reports are consistent, coming from grizzled shrimpers, recreational boaters, and even oil rig workers. They rule out the obvious. There are no submarines operating in those shallow waters. They aren't reflections from the moon or stars. Some believe the lights are emanating from deep-sea structures, things on the seafloor that were never meant to be seen. Others have a more chilling theory, given how the lights seem to observe and react to the boats above. They think the lights are watching. They are a silent, luminous presence in the Gulf, a constant reminder that even in these well-traveled waters, there are things hiding just below the surface, looking up. Finally, we travel to the Western Pacific, near the approach to the Mariana Trench, the deepest known point on planet Earth. This is Challenger Deep, a place of absolute darkness and unimaginable pressure. In this hostile environment, sound is one of the only ways to explore. But when deep-sea sonar was deployed here, it recorded something that stopped expeditions in their tracks. It wasn't the sound of geology. It wasn't the sound of any known animal. It was a rhythmic, metallic knocking sound, not random, not mechanical in a way we understand. It was almost deliberate, like something was knocking from inside a hollow chamber, deep within the trench. Multiple expeditions attempting to study the area reported strange equipment malfunctions in the presence of the sound. Crew members on the surface vessels reported overwhelming feelings of unease, even panic, for no apparent reason, as if something was broadcasting a signal that affected them psychologically. The sound was a message from a place we can't reach. The abyss was answering back, and no one dared to follow the sound to its source. The recordings exist, but the origin of the knocking from the deepest part of our world remains a complete mystery. The ocean doesn't reveal its secrets easily. and some mysteries stay buried for a reason. If you want more true, unexplained stories from the ocean abyss to urban legends, sleep paralysis, and real horror, subscribe to Mystery and Myth Storytime and turn on notifications, because the next mystery might already be beneath you. Good night.